The year was 1948. Harry Truman won the presidency, despite what the front page of the Tribune had mistakenly declared that year. Gas cost 26 cents a gallon. Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, and Frank Sinatra ruled the radio.
I long to kiss you.
And in Chicago, at Tribune Tower, the newspaper's colorful editor and publisher, Colonel Robert McCormick, was enamored with a new mass medium.
Colonel McCormick, who ran the Chicago Tribune, was always very interested in these new mediums that were coming about.
We are therefore undertaking our adventure to television at the earliest possible moment. We're setting out as soon as we can. We're going as far as we're able.
Television was in its infancy.
In our Chicago School of Television exhibit, so much of it is WGN-TV.
Museum of Broadcast Communication Chairman Dave Plyer says Chicago, the crossroads of America, was becoming a center of the grand experiment.
Where television was going to go was still quite unknown.
Pioneers had tinkered with the mechanical transmission of pictures, but television burst into a new era with electronic transmission and the invention of the cathode ray tube.
It was a large, big glass tube, and those large, big glass tubes were put in big wooden cabinets that lived in our living rooms and entertained us by writing a picture on that tube. And the way that it wrote the picture on the tube was it scanned.
Northwestern University School of Communication professor Rick Morris.
It absolutely was a miracle happening. People would gather in front of the televisions in retail stores and just watch them because many people didn't have television.
A Zenith experimental station went on the air in the 1930s, long before consumers had TV sets. In the early 1940s, WBKB became Chicago's first commercial station, and in March of 1948, Channel 9 became the second city's second commercial television station with its first experimental telecast, the Golden Gloves Boxing Tournament, broadcast from the Organ Loft at Chicago Stadium.
Hooked up all the equipment and did 48 consecutive Golden Glove bouts out of the Chicago Stadium on March 3rd.
Tribune executives decided to name the station after the Chicago Tribune's masthead slogan, "World's Greatest Newspaper."
In Chicago, people knew what WGN Radio was all about. They actually played with a couple different names, call letters for WGN. It was WGNB, and they just said, look, we already have the name. It's already on the moniker on the newspaper. It's already on the radio station. Let's just make this one big happy family and call it WGN.
About 1 month after broadcasting boxing, on April 5th, 1948, WGN-TV began in earnest with a 2-hour premiere live from the WGN Radio Theater at Tribune Tower, hosted by a fresh face with a familiar voice.
Jack Brickhouse was the first face of WGN-TV, and he already was on WGN Radio for many, many years.
It was the first official telecast on Channel 9, and the program featured stars like Joey Bishop and Lee Bennett. The WGN Orchestra performed. The broadcast was relayed through a mobile video unit nicknamed the Blue Goose to WGN's antenna atop the Daily News building on West Madison Street.
This was the station that really made the splash long before ABC, CBS, or NBC ever came to play.
The early broadcasts originated from converted radio studios at Tribune Tower, where WGN developed a first-of-its-kind, soundproof, floating studio.
Studios, especially when they're like in the middle of downtown Chicago, can hear trucks rumbling, and they can hear cars rumbling, and they hear crowds outside, so you really have to sound isolate a studio.
It was very experimental at the time, but it was a floating studio, so there would be vinyl bags filled with air along the walls, the floor, the ceiling, to keep noise out of the building.
With a grid system suspended from the ceiling to provide adaptable lighting and set suspension. This is a stagehand's view of a typical live commercial in 7A, as seen from the catwalks high above. In the darkened control room, the director watches every detail of studio action. A shading engineer constantly checks that all cameras are operating at peak efficiency. Other engineers stand ready to execute the director's instructions in the fraction of a second.
And we can get it on our set.
WGN's first full day of programming included current affairs show The Chicagoland Newsreel, on which Chicago Mayor Martin Kennelly appeared.
Mo only whittle petunia in an onion patch, an onion patch.
A children's puppeteer program called Wonder House, a homemaker show called Chicago Cooks with Barbara Barkley,
Talking about cooking and start talking about cleaning up.
produced at the Goldblatt's department store on State Street, and several hours of the WGN-TV test pattern.
And it showed a profile of a Buffalo Indian. And I remember staring at this Indian for hours, and it was magic. It was fascinating. It was like mythological and biblical that this image was coming into our home.
William Friedkin, the legendary Hollywood director of The Exorcist,
I'm the Holy Spirit. Damien!
and seen here behind a WGN camera, started his career in the WGN mailroom and worked his way up to director, eventually overseeing more than 2,000 hours of live TV on WGN. He said the early days of television felt like an expedition into uncharted territory.
It was new ground. It was the difference between the people who settled this country when they first came here to settle it, and those of us who live here today in relative comfort and ease.
Only about 100,000 homes in the Chicago area had television sets in the late 1940s.
Television was one of the fastest adopted technologies by the consumer because it was fascinating. It was what they wanted. People will do anything for their entertainment, and television was entertainment.
In the early days, WGN was affiliated with 2 national networks.
At that time when stations launched, you could have been a network affiliate for several different networks. So when WGN hit the airwaves, there was independence to it, but it also was, for entertainment programs, an affiliate for the Dumont Television Network that lasted about just under 10 years, and with CBS as well.
Regional feeds in which local stations sent programming to other cities were common on the East Coast and in the Midwest. In January of 1949, coaxial cable connected stations from the Atlantic to the Mississippi, meaning shows produced in Chicago were reaching national audiences.
Down you go, America's brightest television game.
Like the nation's first quiz show.
An M, please.
An M. I'm sorry to say there are 2 M's, and Pat?
Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo.
So WGN was famous for having live television from morning until night.
Just as WGN was trailblazing the new technology, it was also pioneering the programming.
Then the next girl was Betty Ann Webb.
The first ever televised beauty pageant, the Miss U.S. television contest, complete with a swimsuit category,
May I have the crown or the tiara for the Queen?
was produced by WGN from the Chicago Fair of 1950 and fed nationwide to Dumont-affiliated stations in 14 TV markets.
This is music.
This is Music, the precursor to popular bandstand-style programs, was produced at WGN in 1951 and fed to Dumont. The first TV courtroom drama
Of the relator, Johnny Roberts, should be awarded to the petitioner, Mary Roberts.
They Stand Accused had a real-life judge presiding over a courtroom as real-life attorneys grilled actors and actresses who played the roles of witnesses.
Just everybody in the town loved Tom.
How did you feel about Tom?
Oh, I loved him too.
A jury, selected from the WGN studio audience, reached a verdict at the end of the show.
This is Paul Fogarty, your streamlining exercise man. Ready, everybody?
Your Figure Ladies was an exercise program long before Peloton instructors were on our screens.
It was often first in what it was doing, or almost first.
In 1952, as the other stations in the city declined to broadcast the auto show, deeming it too complicated, WGN welcomed the challenge.
All the crew at that time were brand new, inexperienced, because they didn't know what end of the tripod to set the camera on, because we were hiring people so quickly, and we'd hire them if a guy had some radio experience in his basement, why, we'd hire him and we'd say, "You're an engineer."
And from the beginning, there was baseball.
They rolled up a mobile unit to Wrigley Field and started their legacy of broadcasting baseball, one of the best American pastimes and one of the best ways for a news television station to draw an audience.
By the late 1950s, WGN-TV was outgrowing its shared space with WGN Radio at Tribune Tower. The station purchased a vacant lot near the corner of Western Avenue and Addison Street across from Lane Tech High School. In 1961, WGN moved to the gleaming new Continental Broadcast Center at 2501 West Bradley Place. There were large new studios for shows like International Cafe, which offered viewers a weekly menu of entertainment from different ethnic backgrounds. So the sun was setting on the golden age of television, and WGN was set to begin a new era in color and independent.
What was special about WGN was its independence of mind and its independence of programming.
What a great story. And we're still in that building today. It's like a museum in here.
Yeah, rich with history. Our thanks to Mike. Now, next week, he will look at a partnership between WGN and another beloved Chicago institution, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and how the collaboration transformed television into an instrument that could spread high art and education along with mass entertainment.
And we will have special coverage every Thursday night. Remember that through April, right here on the WGN News at 9. We also have a special section of our website devoted to stories about the 75th anniversary. You can read more at WGNTV.com/75.
Yeah, Mike just scratched the surface there tonight.
More to
so
come.
much more.